I am in Warsaw's beautiful old town today, just one of the many destinations where we send teachers across the world. I've been here 4 days now. It's been an incredible experience meeting teachers and some of our partner schools. It really is a great place to work and live. But today I am not just going to focus on Poland. I am here to talk you through our destinations and help you find out which one is best for you. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so I'm back in the UK, back in the office now, after a brilliant time in Warsaw, and let's get chatting about which destination could be right for you. Up first is China, and the reason so is because there really is something for everyone there. I used to live in Shanghai, and I just had an amazing time. It was one of the best times of my life, to be honest. The culture is so rich and so interesting. Coming from a Western country, you're really forced out of your comfort zone. You have to learn new ways to do things and a new perspective. And if that's something you like and something you embrace, then there's probably no better place than China to do that. Part of that culture is, of course, the food, which is just amazing. If you're a foodie, you love to cook or simply to eat, then you'll be in heaven in China. There's so much variety of incredible food. If you like city life, again, China is for you. We have placements in big mega cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen, where there really is never a dull day. You know, these cities never sleep. It's a phrase, but it's true. There's always something to do. Everything's just interesting and it's such a buzz. There's so many great people. You know, you'll meet people from all across the world and, of course, the amazing Chinese people too. So, yeah, these mega cities are great and they're so much fun. But, you know, China's not just about the cities. If you do like nature and that's something important to you, then within an hour or so, you're out into some of the most incredible natural beauty in the whole world. You know, there are jungles, there are deserts, there are mountains, any type of landscape, you can find it in China. And the wildlife is beautiful as well. So, you know, that's something to consider. You've got both city and country, which is great. Something for everyone. And in terms of money, China is quite a beneficial place for teachers, with the salaries being relatively high compared to the cost of living. You know, getting a bowl of noodles costs a couple of dollars, a couple of pounds, very cheap, rent's quite cheap. It's possible to save a lot of money from your salary. So if that's something that's important to you, China might be the right place. In summary, you know, culture, great food, cities, countryside, and great saving potential. China really has got it all. Next up, we're heading back to Europe and the country that I just returned from, Poland. For UK candidates, one of the greatest things about Poland is how close it is to home. It was a 2-hour flight from London, and it's relatively cheap most of the year, other than school holidays and Christmas. You're talking £30 to £50 for a return flight. And for those who are not from the UK, maybe from the US, Canada, South Africa, it's a ticket right to the centre of Europe. You're so close to countries like Germany, Austria, all over. You can go anywhere, okay? It's a country really on the up. It's so exciting. People are friendly and so much fun. That's what really blew me away. The people were just great. I met so many people in the street, in the bar, in the restaurant, had so much fun. And it's so safe. You know, I felt so safe the whole time. More safe than London, that's for sure. And the art scene is great. You know, they're into their cinema, art, all sorts of things. It's really interesting. The culture is similar to the UK, but it's different enough to notice it, and it's very interesting. They do have a different perspective on a lot of things. So I learnt a lot during my time there, and if that's something you like, want it to be similar but not too similar, Poland might be great. Teachers who do choose Poland need to be focused and motivated. That is true, because the schools can be tough. They're looking for real teachers who really want to try their best and get the most from the kids, but the rewards are great. The schools are really fantastic places. We visited a few. All of the teachers were lovely, but you have got to have that motivation and focus. The salary's good. It's enough to save or travel, maybe not both. And although it's quite cheap in comparison to the UK and possibly the US, eating out on a teacher's salary in Poland and spending a lot won't allow for much else. Eating out all the time. Of course, Poland is known for being cold and having snow in winter, very Christmassy in December. So if that's something you love, then, Poland would be great. Me personally, I prefer to be on a beach, but, if you like the snow and the cold, then Poland's great. Overall, it's friendly, safe, fun. There's loads of opportunities and the people are great. We're staying on the continent for our next destination and not straying too far from Poland. Budapest, the capital of Hungary, is a relatively new partnership, so we are still learning about it, to be honest, but we can't wait to go. We've got a trip planned for the new year. Many of its benefits are similar to that of Poland, in the sense that it's close to the UK for teachers from there, and teachers from elsewhere, again, it's a way into Europe. One of Budapest's biggest draws is the incredible history and the beautiful architecture. I've had one friend that came back and said it's everywhere you look is beautiful. The buildings, the little cafes, things like that, and of course the Danube River, which is immense and runs right through the centre of the city. So if that's something that really appeals to you, great history. It's also got a great art scene. It's cool bars, ruined bars, a great Jewish quarter and fantastic restaurants. Then Budapest might be for you. It does have cold winters. It's not quite as cold as Poland, but it does get pretty chilly. But the rest of the year is lovely with some very nice summers, really kind of 30 plus, late 20s, lots of sunshine. So if you're more leaning towards the warm weather, but maybe you do want a colder winter, then Budapest, Hungary, might be perfect. And another thing is because you're in more southern Europe, you have access to the Mediterranean. Croatia, Italy, and the ex-Balkan countries are a drive away, a day's drive. So that is a great benefit. So if you want to be in Europe, a slightly different culture and slightly warmer than Poland, Budapest. Next up, we're getting on a rather longer flight to sunnier climate and the land of smiles, which is, of course, Thailand. I taught there for a year and fell in love with the country. The people, the food, the weather are all beautiful. I had such a good time and I want to go back as soon as I can. The culture is fascinating. It's very different, especially from a Western country, and significantly different from China as well. Buddhism plays a central role, and that's really eye-opening to live in a country where this is one of the main factors in people's daily lives is really, really interesting. So it's a challenge, it's also a challenge for people who do want to experience different cultures. Thailand is perfect. There's so much different food, different kind of ways of dealing with the world. It's really, really interesting. So if you do want to learn new things, then Thailand is great for that. The salary, on paper doesn't look good, around £800 a month. But trust me when I say this, having lived there for a year, the cost of living is so low. I split a 3-bedroom bungalow for about £120 a month. You can eat out for £1, £2. So you can eat out 2 or even 3 times a day, local food, very easily. You can go for a drink on the weekend, go to the swimming pool, go on a trip and have enough money to save, even with £800 a month. So On paper, it doesn't look so good, but trust me, the cost of living is low. Okay. And out of all our placements, Thailand is probably the most relaxed in terms of teaching, but that doesn't mean it's easy. You have to be resourceful and adaptable to survive in a Thai school. Most of our placements are in smaller towns, surrounded by incredibly stunning countryside. If you're more of a person that loves city life, then possibly consider China over Thailand. But if you are happy to be in these smaller places, very authentically Thai, in the middle of mountains and jungle, then Thailand is that's the best option we have. But of course, Bangkok is a truly special city and you're never too far from it. You can have endless fun and adventures there if you do crave the city life, but want to be in Thailand. Last but absolutely not least, we are staying in Southeast Asia and we are going to Vietnam. Similar to Thailand in a lot of ways, in terms of a rich and interesting culture, fantastic food, lovely people, brilliant weather and stunning scenery. But having visited both countries and lived in one, there are subtle and larger differences between the two. So it's really down to you to choose Thailand or Vietnam. If you've got your sights set on that part of the world, it's best to do your research and think culturally which one you would prefer. But Vietnam is absolutely incredible and, you know, it's a real change as well from living in the UK. Okay, and one big difference though between Vietnam and Thailand is the salary. Because although the cost of living is very similar, a teacher's salary in Vietnam is significantly higher, you know, over £1,000 a month, which does mean that saving is a lot easier than in Thailand, which is great. You know, this is a good option. We have placements in large cities such as Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, where you can really have a kind of modern lifestyle, shops and restaurants, but you can also have an authentic Vietnamese experience. So you've got the best of both worlds with the countryside, and the beach is never too far away in Vietnam because it's a small, thin country with a coast down the east side. Like I mentioned about the salary a moment ago, with that does come slightly more expectation and responsibility. Our placements are in private training centres where parents do pay for their children to attend. So it's really necessary to have a passion for teaching and a desire to help these kids improve. With that, there is great opportunity for career progression within the school. You know, many of our teachers in Vietnam have been promoted. More salary, more responsibilities, and we think this is really great. In conclusion, Vietnam may be better for those more motivated teachers who do want still to be in Southeast Asia and having a really authentic and exciting experience in a new and interesting culture. So, I hope you found this video really useful. I hope it gave you some tips and some information about where you could go, the things you could do, the places you could be. But there is one thing I must talk about before we finish the video, and that is something that's out of our control. We hope and we wish to place people from all across the world, but as I said, there are things out of our control, such as needing to be a native speaker. This is very important, especially in countries like China. So if you're from the UK, US, Australia, Canada, South Africa, you're going to be okay. Other countries, we do have difficulties placing people, and that's not for a want of trying. That's just the requirements. A degree is often required, so graduates, I think you'll be fine. Without a degree, it is more challenging, but we do have some options, so don't hesitate to get in touch. And a TEFL, the last one is a TEFL, which is very easy to get, so don't stress about the TEFL, worry more about the other two. But we aim to help everyone, regardless of where they're from or who they are. So if you are interested, then please do get in touch and we'll try our best. Okay, thanks again for watching the video. See you soon. Bye for now.